time on Trading Bull Z, our heroes were faced with a difficult situation, and SPY looked as if it would not hold up against a critical resistance. But then today, it broke free and closed the day at session highs. And if that weren't enough, it seems we're almost back to 50% retraced from this downfall of SPY. And the plays that were called out today, did they make it or did they get clapped? Find out on this episode of Trading Bull Z. All right. It is Friday, May the 8th, 2020, and we have finished up the week here. Got a lot of great stuff to cover with you guys. The plays in chat, as well as things that happened to me today, lessons learned. It is going to be a good talking point today because we got into a little bit of trouble. But first, before we get into that, let's cover the plays for today. So the first play that we called out was Space, right? Virgin Galactic. They've been a darling for a little bit. They've been up and down, but there was a pattern and there were supports and resistance that were identified. I put the screenshots in chat because yesterday when I did it before pre-market, it threw off the entry and exit level. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it pre-market because the entry and exit points will be more accurate. And what do you know? So we got down here, 935 right there. Boom. We got an entry on a green candle. Perfect entry for calls. You ride it up. Bang. Take profits. At each close of each 5-minute candle, and you get out at the top. If you had your pivot points up, you would have seen that this was the top of the channel, so you would have known to get out. So this play worked really well to perfection, and even if we didn't have an opportunity for calls, we could have had an opportunity for puts down here. This was a good play, and it worked out basically to perfection. The next play that we had today, I believe, hold on one moment. So it was Walmart. So Walmart was interesting because it didn't do what we wanted when we wanted, but it did do what we wanted. So as you can see, the entry for calls was around 223.73. It hit this level and got rejected, fell all the way down. The interesting thing is it had a gap to fill from pre-market, and it filled that gap. If you saw that, you could have made some money in puts, although you would have needed to get in at the close of this red candle. See the rejection, comes down, boom, takes some profits at each 5-minute interval. Bang. You can see the rejection of this green candle, and then it trends, basically channels along the way, rest of the day sideways, and then at the close, boom, up. So Walmart's one of those stocks that's been getting beat up lately, and when I did my chart analysis, I found that it had, basically found there was the pin bar here, so I was like, oh, okay. Looks like it might gap up tomorrow, especially if SPY is green. SPY was having a little bit of trouble out the gate, so I became skeptical of this play. I didn't get into it, but there's a couple of ways you could have made money with this play. You could have, you see this here, this is a widely known pattern. the bullish engulfing candle, and it's below the support level. So more than likely it's going to come pop back up, and it did. And if you could have gotten the entry, you could have written it up right to the next resistance level, got out, taking profits along the way, of course. These are some of the patterns that traders love because you just um, follow the chart pattern, right? Calls, get in, get out, get puts, get out, get calls, so forth and so on. You could do that. I don't really love to trade channel movement, but on days where today, like Fridays, are very low volume, it just tends to be a slow day. And I'm sure we can agree, everybody who experienced today with me, that it was slow. And slow days can kind of force you into some bad plays. But nevertheless, this trade, if you paid attention and could modify some entry points, you would have been able to make some money with this. The last play that we called out in chat was Uber. So yesterday, I was checking out Uber. Danny called it out right before close. It did a solid after it dumped, but then, it came back up, but then it fell back down again. And let me see, around 9:30, it was going up, and then, it hit the entry for calls, but we were already in. I got out at this point, but unfortunately, I was still down. So I had to take a loss on it, but um, nevertheless, that was okay. It came back down, channeled basically for the rest of the day. We never got another entry on it. It just stayed safe into the channel. So this play died pretty early when it couldn't make up its mind where it wanted to go. It couldn't go up and it couldn't go down. It was just stuck channeling all day. So that's fun. Now, for me, my personal day-to-day was not very good at all. In fact, as bad as yesterday well, the day before yesterday was, today was a little bit worse, okay? And we'll get to that in a minute. But one of the things that I want to share with you guys is that when you're trading, mindsets matter, okay? Um, when you're having a little bit of a bad day, you're come out the gate red. A lot of the swings that I swung missed. Okay, I got hammered on the SPY puts, obviously, because the market was up. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to swing any more SPY puts anymore. You would think I would have learned my lesson after those 417s. But nevertheless, I saw a little bit of weakness. I thought it would reject off of R1, but it didn't reject. In fact, it gapped up and then kept going. And in fact, it had an end of the day rally. So, that's fun. I mean, yeah, we're on the precipice of a lot of data that suggests we could be heading towards reopening. They're working to find, different treatments or vaccines and things like that. And, the data is well, biased, to be sure, because let's face it, the record unemployment, people going out of business, people, supply chains are screwed up now, but somehow the Dow is up more than 6,000 points since since the bottom of this channel. And it's like, okay, that's really ridiculous. And sure, we got Fed intervention going on. We got all kinds of, stimulus and things working in the background to try and stabilize the market. And one of the things I've noticed is that historically, it takes a while for the market to catch or get the email that, hey, we're in a recession. You might want to act like it. So, yeah, back in 2008, when everything was going on in the financial crisis, it wasn't until Wall Street banks started going belly up that the market was like, oh, crap, let me go down. So even despite the fact that there was tremendous amounts of mortgage defaults and all types of job losses and bad economic data all the way around, the market refused to go down. It wasn't until Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns went under that the market was like, oh shit, let me go down. So the same thing could probably be happening now. If we don't get some sort of negative, super negative catalyst, we might be just headed straight back up. We're gonna, have our down days here and there, but people are looking to get in. People don't want to miss the opportunity to buy the dip. So this is the result. Plus, the algos and the Fed, they do not want the bears to be great. So with that in mind, we have to be careful when we're trading, in which direction we're trading, how we're trading, and how we're watching the markets. If you can find good entries, you got to watch out for SPY. You got to watch, depending on whatever, what you're trying to get into. So, yeah. But today, I got clapped. And so to the point where I got into some swings that are, life or death. So typically I don't love to swing, especially in this market, but I got some SPY calls before the market closed. And, I seen some flow on some things, but let me bring it up so I can show you guys. So, all right. So this is what happened to me today, and as you probably can tell, let's cue the music. Yep. So RIP for me. Let's explain what happened and walk through these trades. And I'm doing this because I'm hoping by putting this out there, I can embarrass myself into not trading incorrectly anymore. Because I know better than this, and I'm better than this, and I do this, but sometimes we let, uh, we're all human, and things get to us, and a lot of times, um, we just make stupid trades. I mean, it happens to everybody. Millionaire traders, beginners, doesn't matter how long you've been in there, you're going to have red days. It sucks when you have multiple red days. This is my first week with two red days in a minute. So, and of course, not only do they have to be two red days, but they have to be two significant red days. So yeah, Apple, got a little bite out of it. Amazon got severely clapped. Basically, what happened there is it was negative on the day, and I got in right as it was breaking a trend because the 5 minute candle had just closed, and I was like, yes, it's about to come down. And then, nope. Um, the green candle, the candle after the red can the I got in on a red candle. The candle after I got in shot way up. Like, I'm talking like from red to green in a matter of seconds. And I'm like, y'all were just down $8. There's no way you can go from $8 down to $1 up in that amount of time. But they did. And I was clapped, and it was too late, and it was nothing I could do about it, and I was done. And it was at this moment that everything just got effed up. So this is a swing. I think somebody had mentioned this earlier in the chat. The Bank of America puts, there was a lot of flow that came across for that. And the options were really cheap. So I was like, yeah, why not? Because remember, the goal is to risk a little to make a lot, not risk a lot to make a little, which is where I went wrong today. So if these plays that I swung work out Monday, then we'll just stick to that strategy. So Beyond Meat, it was one of the winners, one of the few winners today. Basically, I just hopped on the bandwagon. Mark was a put. That there came to be a lot of option flow in, and the chart pattern and everything was setting up to be good. Riot was a swing play. That I believe was a call. Then we got Spy. It clapped me from that swing, but I came back with these calls. And so Monday we should be in the building. Stamp. That was the swing. Closed out today. Got clapped. I only had 2 contracts, so it was super expensive though. No, 3 contracts. Yeah, I had 3 contracts. Super expensive. Tesla, $125. Twillo, this was the swing. Closed it out in the green, so that was nice. Uber, like I said earlier, got clapped. Wix, had to get out before I took another loss. And Zoom was the huge loser of today. I was looking for a continuation, got stuck in a bad trade that went south, tried to wait it out, but the more I waited, the worse it got, and got clapped. So the lesson here today is don't get clapped. Do not wait and hope and anticipate that the trade will go in your direction. Also, for those of you who've seen the video yesterday, another place where we effed up at today is one of the things that I religiously said in that video, and that was stop losses. Now, to be fair, a lot of these trades went against me in ways that are not typical. So, it wasn't like, just randomly throwing darts at its dartboard and it, you hit or miss, right? So these were entries that I set up on the chart, got good entries, and they just went south. But yeah, so I had to take a step back and reevaluate everything. And so this is a very pivotal trade for me, because if these swing trades don't hit Monday, we're going to be in serious trouble, because a lot of this money is borrowed from the broker. So yeah, I don't want to end up having a margin call on my account. That would be a nightmare scenario. This is a Hail Mary Aaron Rodgers play right here. Hopefully, there's only 2 scenarios. Either I'll end up with a P&L on Monday that belongs on Wall Street Bets, or I'll be coming to live with one of you guys in the chat. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, no, these were educated swings, so they should hit. And they were cheap too. So, um, like I always say, cheap calls, cheap puts. You know, just within 2 or 3 standard deviations of the money. That's how a lot of big time traders make a lot of money on these swings. The goal is not, again, to risk, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 to make, 5, 6, 7, 8, $9,000. The goal is to risk 2, 3, 4, 500 to make, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 grand, 11, 12, 20 grand. That's the ideal world. But finding those trades is very, very tricky. And I'm only just beginning to understand how exactly to find those trades. And I'll make a video about it at some point. But yeah, that's the tough part, is identifying those trades, because by the time typically we get in, like most of the trades that we get in on a daily basis, everything's already priced in. Okay, the options are like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000 dollars a contract. So that's not going to work. You could scalp doing that, but the money's not in scalping. The money's in finding a good play that's 14 cents, 20 cents, 30, 50 cents, and riding it all week to $5, $6. That's how you really want to play this, right? So I'm on the right track. I'm figuring things out as I go. Again, I'm not perfect, although, just because I, have the fundamentals, I still have a long way to go. I'm learning. This is all a learning process. And like I said, it's all about full transparency here. Okay. A lot of people would hide this stuff. I don't. Uh, Partially because I need people to not make these same mistakes. And the other thing is to embarrass myself into not making them again. So that being said, we're going to end the video here. Like and subscribe. We do have an Instagram. And we also have this newly minted YouTube channel that we started only yesterday. Again, I'm going to be doing all the daily recaps through here. And I'll post this in the chat, and we'll probably do a Q&A session in the Discord chat. So like and subscribe, follow us on Instagram, and remember, do not get clapped. We'll see you Monday. I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully I live to trade another day. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. So let's go. Comment, like, and subscribe, and you guys have a wonderful weekend.
After a vicious struggle with the spy gods, our heroes got clapped yesterday. But all is not lost. Spy actually broke out of its bullish pennant and is headed for the moon. And our heroes got into spy calls right before the close. Incredible. But is Spy gonna be able to sustain this rapid pace? Find out on the next episode of Trading Bull Z.